So hello everyone, welcome to EduTap. And guys, just a few days ago, the budget session of the union government has taken place. Now, why this session is important for us? Because the union minister presents a lot of data about the initiatives that the government is taking place, and these data are very much relevant for our examination. So now guys, we will be covering all those important data in our PIB lectures. So welcome to the PIB lecture of 18th and 19th of July, in which we will be covering the important topics, the important informations that have been shared by the minister regarding some specific schemes, as well as some other important things that are very much relevant for our phase 1 examination. So as we know, the topics are relevant both for your phase 1 and phase 2 examination, and first we will be starting with those topics that are very much relevant for your phase 1 examination. So let's start with the first topic. The first topic was basically talking about Jawaharlal Nehru Port. There was a news about Jawaharlal Nehru Port. Now if you look at the question itself, let's first understand the key things that have been mentioned just in the question itself. Jawaharlal Nehru Port, the second keyword here is, has become the first major port to become a 100% landlord port. So this itself is important for us. Jawaharlal Nehru Port, first major port to become 100% landlord port. This was the thing that was being shared in PIB by the minister. The other important thing that needs to be, that was given in the information on which we have made a question is, they have mentioned about this Lloyd's list of top 100 ports report of 2021. So the question here is, what is the rank of the Jawaharlal Nehru Port in this specific report? Now guys, they can directly ask a question on this report also, but because the current scenario also needs to be explained, so that's why we have framed the question on this specific line. So answer here is, that is, it is the 26th rank that has been banked by Jawaharlal Nehru Port. So if I see here, on 19th of July, there was an important information that was shared in PIB that Jawaharlal Nehru Port has become the first 100% landlord major port of India, and that is on PPP model, that is public-private partnership model. When this thing was seen, so see, just a mere heading, you will be remembering only this specific thing, Jawaharlal Nehru Port 100% landlord major port. But within this article, there was a very important information shared about this Lloyd list report, in which it says the port has been ranked at 26th place among the top 100 ports. So this was the first thing that needs to be remembered. Now I was coming to the second question. Second question is, recently the member of the Union Public Service Commission has been appointed. So I am asking a question, whom of the following has been appointed as the member of UPSC? So guys, his name is, that is Mr. Raj Shukla. Now if I talk about here the important names that needs to be remembered, first of all, Manoj Soni. Remember, he is the chairman of UPSC, and the appointment has been made regarding the member of UPSC. So don't get confused here. These are the terms that needs to be focused. Aapko hamesha, I always say, focus more and more on keywords, guys. Yes, this is the key thing to analyze or to answer the question. Focus more on keywords. So here, the keyword was member of UPSC. Manoj Soni is the chairman of UPSC. Suman Berry, vice chairman of Niti Aayog. The important appointment that we need to remember, Parmeshwaram Iyer is CEO of Niti Aayog. So remember these names. Okay, these names needs to be remembered, the important personalities. Okay, ji. So Manoj Soni sir is chairman of UPSC, but the question is on member of UPSC, that is Mr. Raj Shukla, who has been appointed the member here. Suman Berry and Parmeshwaram Iyer are basically related to Niti Aayog. Suman Berry sir is vice chairman, and Shri Parmeshwaran Iyer is basically the chief executive officer of Niti Aayog. All these are important for our examination. Okay, so this was seen in news on 18th of July that Shri Raj Shukla has taken oath as the member. Now the important thing is, he has received the Param Vishish Seva medal on the Republic Day. So there could be a question that could be framed on this line is, which medal he has received? That is, he has received Param Vishish Seva medal. Chaliye, next question is about PV Sindhu. So guys, this is the most important news. I think many of you have gone through this news, that PV Sindhu has created a history. She has won her third title in this year, that is, she has won the Singapore Open for the first time. Now this is the common information that each one of you know, but now the examiner, how he will play with you is, what he will do is, he will ask you everything that you know, that PV Sindhu has won her first time Singapore Open title. She has defeated Wang Ziji. So this is the information that every one of you. Now in that question, how it can be asked is, Wang Ziji is basically belonging to which of the following country? So देखो, just mere remembering the key heading cannot solve your answer. This is the thing that we have seen in the previous examination questions also. They have asked a question on Ravi Dahiya. Okay? Everyone knows he has won a medal. He was the second wrestler after Sujit Kumar to win. But what they have asked is, which Indian, number of Indian wrestler that has won a medal. Okay? So that was the thing here. PV Sindhu has won the first ever Singapore Open title by defeating Wang Ziji, and she is of China. So देखो, अगर आप options को भी देखो, look at the options here. These are so much confusing. If you do not know the exact country, just looking at the options, it will not be easy to answer, because all of these options here, the players that are being generally name होते हैं Zhang, Yi Cheng, ऐसे name होते हैं. So remember this thing. Okay. So now do let me in the comment box also how many of you have marked this question wrong. Okay. Whether you know, whether you have read that much in depth or not. So that is the important thing. Okay. Now this was the third question. So PV Sindhu, she has created a history. She has become the first ever Indian, or she has won her first ever Singapore Open title by defeating China's Wang Ziji. Next, guys, are the questions that are relevant both for your phase 1 and phase 2 examination. The first important thing when the budget session started is by the election of president. So here I am asking you a question that which among the following articles are related to the electoral college of president or to the election of president. So this is the most important thing, guys. We have seen in the NABARD examination of previous year, there were questions on the Indian political system that has been asked. They have asked you a question on Public Accounts Committee. They have asked you a question on how many scheduled languages. Scheduled languages are given under which of the following schedule of India. So now, because recently the election of president has taken place, so there might be a possibility they could ask you a question on the election of president. If I talk about here, the answer here is that is article number 54, which talks about the election as well as the electoral college of the president. So when I talk about the president, so important articles are article number 52, which tells us that there shall be a president of India. His elections are described under Article 54 and his pardoning powers are described under Article 72 of the Constitution. So all these articles are important. 54, 52 as well as 72 that are directly related to the President of India. Okay, so pardoning power 72, 54 is the electoral college, 52 is basically talking about the president, 55 is talking about the pro rata ratio on which the elections are basically being done. So this is the thing that is in not directly, that is also related to the election of president. Most important is, if I talk about electoral college of process or election of president, it is article 54 that you should remember. So this was being seen in the PIB when it was said, because the election has taken place, and yes, today by the end of the day, okay ji, the result will also be announced. Okay, so result will also be announced by that is for the election of president. The important is it is elected under article 54 of the Constitution. Then if I talk about how elections are taking place, so here I have given you the list of members which could be included. So guys, here again remember one thing, these are the information shared in PIB. You might be thinking, sir, what are the things that needs to be prepared from Constitution? The things that are seen in your PIB are the most important things that needs to be prepared even for static portion also. So election of president has taken place, so all the things about president you should remember. Important articles we have revised in this lecture. Now guys, coming to the next question is about, so recently the Namaste scheme has basically been formulated. What does this scheme tells us about? That we have shared in the question itself. Namaste tells us that it is a scheme, the full form is National Action Plan for Mechanized Sanitation Ecosystem. So देखो, sanitation, that is for cleaning of sewer, this scheme has basically been formulated. The question I am asking you is, which are the ministries that are involved in formulation of this Namaste scheme? That is Ministry of Department of Drinking Water, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, and which is the third ministry here. That is the question that I have asked you. So if you have gone through the thing, so remember here a trick that you could use. देखो, mechanized sanitation. If I talk about sanitation, manual scavenging, cleaning. So what are the things where it is basically focusing on? It is focusing on the social development, social culture of India. तो याद रखना कौन सी मिनिस्ट्री उसको देखती है? That is Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. So you can use this trick to solve this question. That is Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation, as well as Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. These three schemes are basically formulating this Namaste scheme, that is the National Action Plan for Mechanized Sanitation Ecosystem, which is talking about mainly focusing on the cleaning of sewers and septic tanks in India. So this was seen in news, guys. So this is the information that has been shared. But yes, the detailed guidelines of the scheme will be shared within few days. That has been shared by the minister. Now, guys, next question. There was an information on FAME India scheme that has been said. So we have discussed a lot of times FAME India scheme. Common question if I talk about FAME India scheme is, what does FAME stands for? It is faster adoption and manufacturing of hybrid and electric vehicles. So there are three statements that are given about FAME scheme. Let's have a look out here. Keyword. I always tell you to focus on keyword. Here it is saying phase 1 launched 2017. Phase 2 10,000 crore rupees is being allocated outlay. Then third point, extension has been given till 2025. So guys, keywords are the most important things. As your examination is coming near, the one of the most important approach how you can solve the statement based questions within a few seconds is focus on the keywords that is being shared in the statement. So phase 1 launching is 2017, outlay phase 2 10,000 crores, extension till 2025. So here if I talk about, guys, only option 2 is correct. Why? Rest statements are incorrect because it is not 2017. 2015 में scheme launch हुई है. And if you have gone through the FAME scheme, अगर आपने you have read the FAME scheme, so we know the previous year in June 2021 the scheme was extended for a period of 2 years, that is till 2024. Earlier the scheme has to be stopped in 2022, but it was extended for 2 years more, that is till 2024. That's why the third statement here becomes incorrect. Okay, so when I talk about here, guys, there was a news that is the initiatives government has taken for the electric vehicles in India, where the FAME scheme was talked about. Okay, so there was two links on the FAME scheme. One I am sharing you here, okay, in which there was an information given about the phases of FAME India scheme. Phase 1 of FAME India was launched in 2015. Okay, phase 2 when I talk about its duration was till 2022 with an outlay of 10,000 crore rupees, which was later extended for a period of 2 years, that is till 2024. Now, coming to the next question, that is again on the scheme is, which of the following statement is or are not correct about the FAME India scheme? Okay, so as on July, there are 4.7 lakh electric vehicles. Keyword, 4.7 lakh electric vehicles given incentive. See, demand incentive, electric vehicle increased 15,000 to increase to 15,000 from 10,000, increase in cap from 30% to 40%. So we have highlighted the keywords. Now focus on the keywords and try to solve the question. Remember the keyword here is, first of all, what is asking the question, correct or not correct? Then these are the keywords where we have to focus on. So here if I talk about, guys, only option 3 is incorrect. Rest are the correct statements. So the recent data that has been shared by the government, if we look out here, so government has shared a data on 19th of July. The minister has shared data. He says that there are 4.7 lakh electric vehicles that are being given incentives under the FAME India scheme from the heading. So these are the type of questions that we are seeing in the examination. What they are doing is current and static are being mixed here. So current information is here, that is 4.7 lakh electric vehicles, which says our first statement here becomes the correct statement. ठीक है जी, चलिए अब other important data that has been shared by the government here is it says that there are around 2,877 electric vehicle charging stations. Why I am saying this data now, guys? Because just before examination, if there is the news that is talking about data about some specific scheme, that needs to be remembered at this point of time. Charging stations are around 1576 and there are around 6,315 e-buses. So you do not have to cram this data, just have a basic idea, but this data needs to be remembered because it is not talking about, it is talking about the full specific scheme, that is the incentives that has been given. So talking about the scheme, it was launched in 2019 by Ministry of Heavy Industries. The purpose is to boost electric mobility and increase the number of electric vehicles. So we have seen the government's prime focus is now moving towards the electric vehicles. Okay, ji. Then duration extended to 2024. Financial outlay I have discussed for phase 2 is 10,000 crores. Then if I talk about demand incentive, it is increased to 15,000 kilowatt per hour from 10,000 kilowatt per hour, and there is an increase on cap from 20% to 40%, which says our third statement is wrong because it is not 30%, it is from 20% to 40%. So see, you have to remember just the basic things. Basic things are the things you have to remember, but from here the examiner can play with you in the examination. So remember the facts and figures that are relevant for your from the scheme for your examination. Now guys, the next important information that have been shared about the electric vehicles in this specific article is, here I have found a question: which of the following statements are correct with respect to electric vehicles in India? There is the GST is applicable on electric vehicles, that is 5%, on chargers and charging station is 12%, and electric vehicles are not covered under the PLI scheme. Keywords: GST 5%, charging 12%, not on PLI scheme. These are the three keywords which you have to focus here. So here if I talk about only first statement is correct. So let's see, because guys we know PLI scheme for automobile. When we are focusing more on automobile, why can we say that the electric vehicles will not be covered here? So this is the common statement. So electric vehicles are basically covered under PLI scheme for automation also. Okay. So when I talk about the important thing, chargers also, GST has been reduced from 18% to 5% because government wants to promote electric vehicles. That's why the GST rate has reduced here. That is from 18% to 5%. On electric vehicle it is also 5%. And yes guys, the schemes are electric vehicles are covered under the PLI scheme for automobile sector. So now do let me know in the chat box what are the important targets of PLI scheme for automobile sector. So do let me know in the comment box what are the important targets that are relevant for PLI scheme for automobile sectors. Chali, coming to the next important scheme for which the data was discussed or that was being discussed elaboratively in your PIB was this MIDS scheme, on which we have seen a question in NABARD in the 2021 examination also. So in 2021 examination there was a question on MIDS scheme that was being asked. So the NABARD has a tendency to repeat questions. Dekho, Swasth Dhara, Khet Hara slogan, the question have been asked in 2020. Similar question, same question has been asked in 2021. So there might be a possibility they could also ask a question on this specific scheme also, that is MIDS scheme. That is the Mission for Integrated Development of Horticulture. So here I have given the information that it was launched in 2014-15 for development of horticulture sector. So question here I am asking is, the financial and technical assistance under the schemes are provided for which among the following? So guys, these are kind of questions which you can expect now in the examination. It will not be always like that an easy question, an icing on a cake type of question will be asked from schemes. Schemes play a very important role, and yes, now you have to go in depth of the scheme also. So if you look at the statement, that is beekeeping for pollination, horticulture, creation of post-harvest management and organic farming. So all these are the things where the training is provided under MIDS. So if I talk about here, there was a proper full-fledged article on the implementation of the scheme was there where that was discussed in PIB. So here the important things that was discussed is the training are provided under for which of the following activities, that is setting up of nurseries, tissue cultures, production of quality seeds, area expansion, rejuvenation of unproductive old and sensible orchards, organic farming, creation of water resource structure, beekeeping, horticulture mechanization, or the post-harvest management. So देखो, now how to remember this thing? All these things are related with the cultivation of horticulture. So see, just 2 days back I have discussed second advanced estimates on horticulture has been released. Okay, so I have taken a detailed video on that, and if you have missed that video, okay, what you can do is the link for that is given in the description below. You can watch that video from that specific link. Okay, now here also this scheme is related to horticulture. So now if I talk about the important thing that needs to be done, cultivation needs to be done, area expansion needs to be done. You have to move from rejuvenate the old techniques to the new techniques. ठीक है जी, मैकेनाइजेशन चाहिए होगी आपको, उसमें अगर मैं बात करूं तो हनी में मैं बात की थी तो बी कीपिंग भी चाहिए होगी, एंड दिस वाज दी यू नीड टू क्रिएट अ पोस्ट हार्वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट एंड मार्केटिंग इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर सो दैट जो द थिंग्स दैट वी आर प्रोड्यूसिंग डू नॉट गेट वेस्ट हियर. सो दीज आर द इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स ऑन व्हिच टेक्निकल ट्रेनिंग इज बीइंग प्रोवाइडेड. If I talk about the scheme, guys, it was launched in year 2014 by Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Purpose हमने पहले डिस्कस कर लिया in the question itself. Holistic growth of agriculture sector, which covers the important things like fruits, vegetables, roots, cashew, cocoa, bamboo, coconut, as well as aromatic plants. So things that we have discussed in the advanced estimates on horticulture. ठीक है? Now if I talk about sub schemes here, so remember this schemes, that is National Horticulture Mission for Northeastern Himalayas, National Horticulture Board, Coconut Development Board, and the Central Institute of Horticulture. These are the sub missions under the MIDH scheme. Okay, the funding, because देखो centrally sponsored scheme है, तो remember the thing, if it is a centrally sponsored scheme, there must be a sharing between center and state. So here 60:40 is the center state sharing ratio for the normal states. Himalayan and Northeastern gets 90%, and for National Horticulture Board, Coconut Development Board, Central Institute for Horticulture, and the national level agencies, it is 100%. So guys, this is the keyword now here, because we might be feeling it is a centrally sponsored scheme, and what examiner can play with us in the question, he can ask a statement from this specific line that 100, it is a centrally sponsored scheme, and 100% funding is provided for National Horticulture Board, Coconut Development Board, and Central Institute for Horticulture of Nagaland. So we might be feeling if it is a centrally sponsored scheme, ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे refunding pattern तो अलग होगा, ठीक है, but remember this is an exception that is really important for our examination that you cannot keep. अब इस चीज पे emphasis रखना when you are preparing this specific scheme. Now if I talk about here, the purpose is providing technical advice and technical training that we have discussed. What are the technical training or technical assistance where it is basically being provided. Now guys, the next question is, which of the following state has the highest number of farmers being trained under the MIDH scheme? So you see the previous questions, they have asked a question, which of the following state has the highest number of farmer producing companies in India. This was again a question that was being asked from previous years monsoon budget section, where the information on the farmer producing organization scheme has been discussed. So based on a similar line, we have framed a question for you, that is highest number of farmers that are being trained under this MIDH scheme. It belongs to which of the following state? And the answer here is, that is Andhra Pradesh. So if I talk about overall guys, overall here Andhra Pradesh, highest number of farmers have been trained, followed by Maharashtra and Odisha. So remember these three states, Andhra Pradesh followed by Maharashtra and Odisha. So guys, this was all about today's session. Okay, so I hope you have enjoyed the session. If you have enjoyed the session, kindly share the session with your friends also, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Then guys, to get the access of the PDF of all the available lectures that we are providing on YouTube, kindly subscribe to our Telegram channel, the link for which is given in the description below. Now guys, a very important announcement for you. So we are running a flat 50% off on our RBI, SEBI and NABARD courses. So NABARD examination is coming out. You can avail any of this course at a flat 50% off. What you have to do is, you have to just type this code, that is one time, which is valid till 21st of July and 22nd of July. So guys, this was all about the session. I hope you have enjoyed the session. Okay, if still you have any kind of doubt, you could drop us an email at hello@edutap.co.in. You could even place us a call at this number, that is 81462 07241. I hope guys the lecture is fruitful for you. So keep preparing, keep working hard, and I hope you will succeed. So wishing you all the best for your exam.